All right. Here we go. Um, I try to gain my bearings. As soon as the camera turns on, you forget everything. Um, I just arrived in Sydney, and uh, I checked into my place like 10 minutes ago, and I haven't even taken a shower or anything. I really wanted to do this. Um, because I've had a lot on my mind, and also, my first day here, I kind of want to make this a habit, and I'll talk about that a little bit. Um, but, um, well, I'll go into it, I guess. Um, I I got a work visa for Australia. It's just a work and holiday visa, so basically, I can do hospitality work, things like that. Um, and So my plan is just to bartend or something, find work and travel and whatnot. So I didn't write anything down, so uh, I'm a little scattered, honestly. Um, but I really wanted to get this going, just to kind of get the ball rolling. I'm gonna suck at it for a while. That's for sure. Statistically, um, it's a fact that we all suck at things right away. So, um, anyway, this for me is kind of like it's kind of twofold. It's for me to kind of journal, and during this trip, I want to keep track of what's going on and what I experience and all that, and then my thoughts and what's going on inside. Um, and then also, kind of keep friends and family updated, uh, in a more simple way. Unfortunately, obviously, there's, people I'll be in closer contact with, but, for the large majority, I won't be able to constantly be texting or calling or things like that. So this will kind of serve as you kind of know how I'm doing and everything, for those who care. Uh, um, and Yeah, so that's good. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do these regularly, and kind of track what's going on and what I'm thinking about. But this initial one, I kind of just want to talk about, why I'm doing this, what I intend to get out of it, and which is almost certainly going to be different than what I do get out of it, I'm sure. But I'm believing that whatever does happen is going to be positive, and that I'm going to come out better for it. So anyway, yeah, I quit my job that I was at for 8 years, and I wasn't happy, and that was kind of apparent through the whole thing. Um, and It wasn't particularly the job, because the job was good, and the people were good, uh, and met a lot of friends and whatnot that I think I'll have for a long time. But uh, it was there was something about it that wasn't sitting well with me, and part of it, I think, is just being in the town that I grew up in, and everything was feeling a little heavy for me, and so I went through several steps of wanting to get out, and I remember test or studying for the firefighters test, for Tacoma FD, and that didn't pan out. Or I mean, I didn't even end up taking the test, because the test ended up being on the day that I started at the shipyard, so that kind of ruined that. Well, not ruined it. I could have pushed for it, but I didn't. Right? This is all kind of tied together. And then there were other little things here and there that I thought about, and ruminated on. Probably didn't put as much work into as some of the others, but the next big one was a flight, a helicopter pilot position in the Army, and that one was pretty. I put a lot of work into that, a couple of years, and a lot of research, a lot of studying. Took several tests, did well, fortunately, and I felt like I had a pretty decent packet set up. But then, again, some life stuff, mistakes on my part for sure, and whatnot kept me from that. And so, I kind of went into a pretty weird depression rut type thing. And, it was just weird. Very, very, existential crisis type. And, I through it all, I've known that it's going to get better. I believe that. I believe that, when we're suffering, you suffer through it, and you come out better, and you respond. Be a man of honor. Of courage, and those are the things that I'm searching to be. I just wasn't happy. In a lot of ways, and was trying to think of what do I need to do, because there's got to be something I can do. There's got to be, because that's the thing that really is resonating with me, and it's in my head a lot recently over the last year or so, which is I'm in control, or at least I want to be in control, and I believe that we're all in control of what's going on here and here. For the most part, but I do believe we have, or at least we have the ability to build autonomy, and that's what I want. And so this trip I planned about a year and a half ago, or I started planning about a year and a half ago, and then I resigned a couple weeks ago after I got my visa approved and everything, and so here I am. So actually, I'm gonna take this minute to. I stopped off at the old duty free on my way in. Got myself a single malt, and for me, this is just kind of I don't know. This was a big thing for me. Quitting my job and a lot of security in it and whatnot. I don't know. I think most people could relate in a sense if you think about what it's like to basically leave everything, right? I got rid of all my stuff. I'm traveling in a 46-liter backpack, and So anyway, it was really stressful. Really, I was scared. I was really scared because it's unknown. It's very. It's a weird place to be. Sorry, scattered. So anyway, this is to people who are willing to put themselves in a difficult situation for a hope of something better coming afterwards. And I think that there's a lot of symbolic in that, or some symbolism in that, with a lot of things that we can run away from, or we can face. And for me, this is facing something that I think I've needed to for a while. So there's to the courageous. That's good. And then secondly, today's July 3rd in Australia. I believe it's still the 2nd back home. But July 3rd is the day that my dad died in 97. So here's you, Dad. Okay, so what I hope to get out of all this, I'm not just coming here to get away from, I'm not coming here to run from anything. And I've given that a lot of thought. For me, it's just something I really needed to do, kind of put myself in a difficult position that requires me to grow up. I mean, essentially, I think there's plenty of people who, like myself, hired into a job like the shipyard very young and killed it, and grew into where they needed to be and whatnot. And I didn't do that. So for the last 8 years, I feel like I've been just wobbling, and not really knowing what I should do. So yeah, this is me kind of just kicking things, or what do you call it? I don't know, just taking a leap and trusting myself to do the right thing, And so this whole trip for me is very much a personal journey to something, right? And I don't know what it is, but I really believe some good things are going to come out of it. And that's kind of why I'm doing this. I realized one of the things that I was thinking about is that sometimes I get really inside my own head and I think a lot, and I kind of separate myself from people, and then there's just this like crazy loop in my own head, right? Which is why we need people. We need friends and family and good people around us that we can learn from and bounce things off of. But I realized after those times for days or maybe even a week or plus where I separated myself from people, after that, once I started talking to someone, then just because I heard myself say it or because something came out that like clicked, and all of a sudden a lot of things that I was thinking about and struggling with are starting to make sense. So I realized talking out loud helps a lot, and so that's kind of what this is for me as well. It's just kind of an exercise to say the things that are on my mind, and then hopefully it'll help put things together, and then I can write about them or whatever. That's the hope. That's the plan. And then also, like I said, all the other things. So I feel like this is kind of multi-purpose. But even if nobody watches this, it's still going to be good for me to talk. So this is good. And most people, when they talk to me, they don't really get the chance to mute me or pause me or fast forward or skip it all in general. So, you're welcome, guys. Yeah, so this is a very much a, just a journey for me to learn some things and kind of figure out what I want to do, where I want to go next. I've had some interesting thoughts recently about that, but the truth is I'm realizing more and more, like, I'm 27 years old and for a long time growing up, my brothers were older than me. Everyone was older than me. Like, I didn't really have any friends my own age, other than, a couple people who were still a little bit older, 3 years. So it made a significant difference when we were, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, really. In that age range, it made a difference. Now it's, we're kind of all in similar positions for the most part. But yeah, it was interesting back then. So I had this thing where I always wanted to be older. I always wanted to be in the next spot, and now I find myself in a place that's, well, kind of similar in a way. Like I want to be mature, and I want to be at that point where I feel like I'm doing something. Right now I just feel like I'm rolling in the mud. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of where I'm at, but I definitely find myself in a weird or an interesting spot where I'm actually like excited that I'm 27, that I have 2.5 more years till I'm 30, and I am excited because looking back at where I came from 2021 and where I'm at now is, it's been quite the ride, but I know I see a lot of growth and maturity. So I'm excited about that. It makes me excited that, in another 10 years where I'll be at. And that's my hope, to continue to grow and learn and just, I don't know, be better, become better. And that's not to say, like, when I say stuff like that, a lot of people say, like, well, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. And it's not necessarily that I'm hard on myself. I just really, like, man, I get this weird perspective sometimes where I'm like, this is it. This is the one life that I get, and I mean, I certainly haven't capitalized on it so far, but from this point forward, is where I want to put a lot of effort into bettering myself and not being bettering myself as a whole. So I don't want to be arrogant and like have an attitude of I'm better than people. But conversely, I also don't want to be the type to put myself down and let people walk on me, that kind of thing. So I want to be confident and humble. I want that balance. So that's a big part of this as well. What else can I say? I don't know. Normally I'm a talking person. Yeah, I don't know. It's this will be interesting. I've had a lot of thoughts today on the plane ride and whatnot. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous, still, but I feel a lot better that I'm here and that the limbo is over. The limbo was really killing me. That was pretty rough. But I feel a lot better. I feel good. I feel like a lot of changes. Oh, I'll talk about this a little bit. I feel like a lot of changes happened almost immediately when I left home. I stayed in Honolulu for 4 days, and stayed at a hostel. Met a bunch of people. It was actually really fun. Best experience I've had at a hostel, I think. Even though, I mean, my only other experience was with my buddy Josiah, probably seven years ago, I think, when we went to Europe, and that was fun. But being a little bit older and a bit more sure of myself in a way, and confident, and being able to interact with people a little bit with more confidence and whatnot was actually really fun. And then my roommates were all awesome. It was a 6-bed room, and there was a guy from Switzerland, Dario, Daichi's from Japan, Josh from Utah, and there were a few others. A girl from I forget her name. I think it was Jess. A girl from Boston, and then a girl from Germany. And it was cool. It was just we had a good time. We all kind of dispersed and did our own things during the day usually, and then because I was mostly doing my own thing, I wasn't really there on vacation. But then at night we'd all get together and have some beers and whatnot, and it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. So that was nice. But for me, there were some interesting changes that happened almost immediately. So one thing that I'll say is my diet has been terrible, just absolutely terrible. And just in general, my health, not taking care of myself and whatnot. And so I've been thinking about it, thinking about a lot of things, right? Money-wise, thinking about how much money I'm spending. And right now I have zero income, coming in. So thinking about that, losing that security of having a paycheck every 2 weeks guaranteed is quite the thing. And so that's interesting. But I'm kind of, so I have these two things where I'm like, all right, I really need to tighten up the finances and not be spending a bunch of money. But I also, I really want to, be better about my health and be thinking more about that. So the best way I can do that is to, find very macronutrient dense, foods and cheap, so as much as I can, I'm going to do that. But that was a big shift from, it was literally, God, I can't tell you, like, it was 6 hours, 6-hour flight, 5.5-hour flight or whatever. And like almost just like pretty much as soon as I landed, I felt like I was in that zone. And the whole time I was in Hawaii, like, other than, I visited some people and whatnot, so, we had dinner and what, all that. So I did spend a little bit of money there, but I immediately jumped into this, like, all right, here we go, and then, went to the gym several times and just felt like I was taking a lot better care of myself already. And So it was a really interesting shift, and this is something that I've been thinking a lot about is the when you make a big change in your life, um, there's so much room for other things to follow along. It's like a I don't know what you would liken it to, but it's a really interesting thing. So it's kind of something I want to take advantage of because when you change your environment, like things really change. Or that's a dumb thing to say. When you change your environment, it's like a catalyst for other things to change because everything's shaken up and you don't know what's going on, and you're not in your routine type of deal. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to use this opportunity to make some changes about things that I want to change, and so there's that. And then the other thing about that is when I was in Hawaii, like it was really emotional for me the first day because I did it, I really I did it. I did something that I said I was going to do, and that was difficult for me to do. Those two things matter a lot to me. For one reason, I really want to be a man of action, and not just words, even though I like words. The problem for me is I like to talk a lot, so that means I got to do a lot more than the average person probably in order to live up to that. But so that means a lot to me that I did that, and I feel very proud of myself and very just happy. I feel happy. I'm excited. And so the one word that I thought about, and it has come into my mind a couple times in the last week or so, 2 weeks, is I feel powerful. And I don't even know how to describe that, but I just feel capable, like I can do anything. And that's quite a experience to have because oftentimes we're put ourselves down and we see all the worst things about ourselves, and I've really been putting a lot of effort into not putting so much thought into what other people are thinking or what other people might think, but more like, man, I gotta live my life. I gotta do my thing, and those who really care about me and love me will support me, and that's all I can ask for, and the support for me has been fantastic. I really, everyone's been great, yeah, that's been good. But yeah, the powerful thing is it's difficult to explain, but I feel I feel good. I feel very good. I feel, I get those little spurts of nervousness and like, oh, what did I get myself into, but overall I feel like this is a really good experience for me and going to be really good. So anyway, I think that's it. I know this is a bit long. I hope to kind of keep them short as I do them. So hopefully this is kind of an intro, and as I go, I'll try to be more structured and, get things out more articulately and quickly and, what do you call it? Succinct. So, yeah, I think that's it.